Jen Mall, and welcome to Nurse Connect. I am an RN and a board certified nurse coach. I believe that connecting with others is essential to living a happy and fulfilled life, and that sharing our stories not only helps us to heal ourselves, but also helps others by inspiring hope and optimism. I am so grateful to share stories of these incredible nurses on their journey, and I encourage you to find a way to share yours too. Thanks for listening in. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Nurse Connect podcast. I'm Jen Mall, and I have jenlyang here with me. Welcome.
Thanks, Jen. I'm excited.
I'm happy to have you. And I noticed you're a Jen with one N. I'm a Jen with two N's. So this is random, but how did you decide on just one N?
I have no idea. I actually went by Jennifer most of my life up until I started playing sports in high school, and my basketball coach just started calling me Jen because it's easier to yell one syllable versus Jennifer.
Yes, so true.
So people named me Jen and spelled it with one N, and I just went with it. And that was like 20 something years ago.
Yeah. And I can't remember why I chose two N's. I think maybe because that was, to me, the short version of Jennifer with the two N's, I guess. I don't know. That's super random, but people usually do JEN, which doesn't bother me. It's just I usually traditionally spell it with both. So yeah. All right. Well, the back to the real reason we're here. I'm excited to explore with you your path becoming a nurse and a nurse coach, and I'm sure a lot in between all of that. So, can you take us back? What got you into nursing? What was your experience like? And we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah. So I didn't know I wanted to be a nurse up until my freshman year of college. I was just one of those first year college students who went to college because that was what you're supposed to do. I knew I wanted to help people, and I knew I wanted to work in the medical field, but I wasn't quite sure what role I wanted to be in. I had an older cousin and an aunt who went to the same nursing school I did.
Oh, neat.
And I think I talked to my aunt one day, and she's like, go into nursing. It's really versatile. If you go, and I had considered PA school, and she said, you may be limited, but you might like nursing better. Like knowing you might enjoy it better. And I'm really glad I did, because she was right.
Yeah.
So I went into nursing because I was influenced by my cousin, my aunt. Ended up going to the same nursing school as them. So I felt really connected with nursing that way through family. And also when I was living in the dorms, all the other girls on my same floor went to nursing school too, or decided to declare nursing. And I was like, okay, me too.
Oh, fun. I love that. And then was this in the Pacific Northwest where you went to school?
Yeah, I went to Linfield College at the time. It's now a university. So I spent 2 years in McMinnville, Oregon, doing my prerequisites. Cool. And then the nursing school was downtown Northwest Portland.
Oh, neat. What a fun experience. Yeah, that's awesome. And so I know you know, I'm sure like most of us made it through nursing school, as challenging as that time is in our lives. But you shared with me previously you had a very difficult time passing your NCLEX. Would you mind sharing some info about that?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, funny you mentioned that, because I haven't talked about it quite a bit. That was the beginning of my nursing journey. But if that had not happened the way that it did, I wouldn't be where I am today. So it took me 2.5 years after graduating from nursing school and 6 attempts at NCLEX to finally have the letters RN after my name.
Wow.
Can you imagine 2.5 years?
No.
And all my other peers had passed on the first try. They had residencies and jobs lined up for them. And I felt like I couldn't apply for work because I didn't have those credentials. And so I felt very behind for a while. But I reflect on that. I was 13 years ago. I reflect
Mhm.
on that, and I think it was the best thing to happen to me.
Wow. The word perseverance, like,
Mhm.
keeps popping in my head. How did you do that? Like, I mean, that takes a lot of perseverance to, like, just know that this is meant for you, and it doesn't matter how long it takes, you're gonna make it. So what was that process like for you?
Oh, it was tough. It was
Yeah.
so hard. I had I had so much pressure from my
Mhm.
family, from
Mhm.
friends, from parents, and I think they all meant well. They're checking in with me.
Sure.
How's the testing going? Have you passed yet? And
Mhm.
to me, it felt so suffocating.
Mm,
It's like
mhm.
it was so challenging to say,
Mhm.
no, actually, I haven't, but I'm working really hard.
Mhm.
And to repeat those words, those phrases for 2.5
Wow.
years, um, yeah, it was really, really hard. Um, I had found work related to nursing, not quite
Mhm.
nursing. I worked as a nanny, and I worked as a receptionist at a physical
Mhm.
therapy clinic, and I was connected to really great people
Mhm.
and mentors.
Mhm.
Um, and I heard from from many people who I had spoken to, it's not like you don't know the content. You're
Mhm.
intelligent. You've been studying. It's not like you don't know it. And I started looking at other ways, like, could it be anxiety?
Yeah.
It was anxiety. I was depressed, and so I went on SSRIs, but I knew that there had to be another way for me to
Mhm.
overcome this. I didn't know what this
Yeah.
was, this challenge was. A mental block. Um, uh, I what I found out was that I had PTSD
Mm.
by
Wow.
signing up to work with a coach, and it took me a while to say yes to that.
Yeah.
Um, at the physical therapy clinic, it was a sports PT clinic, and they worked
Mm.
with professional athletes.
Mhm.
This is in Beaverton, so it was like right near the Nike
Mhm.
campus.
Yeah.
Um, and the physical therapist worked with high level athletes
Mhm.
and recommended that I worked with a coach. And I was like, really? Do you think that would help?
Mhm.
Her card, because I was sitting at the reception desk, her card was sitting right in front of me. And so it took me, I stared at it for
Mhm.
months, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I guess I should reach out to her.
Yeah.
And I ended up working with that coach for about a year and a half.
Wow.
I met her every week for a year and a half, sometimes twice a week,
Uh-huh.
and discovered that it I was actually quite smart, and I
Mhm.
knew my stuff. I knew my nursing stuff, but it was PTSD, anxiety,
Mm.
depression, performance anxiety that held me back from being successful and passing the exam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And so what types of things did your coach help you with? Because I'm sure this set you up,
Oh my gosh,
as you
yes.
became a coach, right? And this is
Yes.
such a, because I know there's so many people that struggle, maybe not with this particular scenario, but feel that
Mhm.
they're being held back, that they're not able to do something they want and they know they're capable of. And how can
Yeah.
a coach help with that?
Yeah. Oh, I learned so many modalities. I was introduced to modalities I'd never heard of. So this is my first
Mhm.
introduction to EMDR,
Mm.
EFT, binaural beats. What else did she? Heart math.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. So, and I had gotten back into my yoga practice at the
Mhm.
time too. And what I learned was to honor myself, have compassion
Mhm.
with myself, and slow down, because I was
Yeah.
in this rat race of trying to keep up
Yes.
with my peers and society.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that was my first introduction to coaching, and I had no idea that years later I would become a coach myself through nursing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So then once you finally became a nurse, I bet, gosh, that was probably such a relief to just finally have that next level. Like, okay, I'm here. And then what type of nursing did you do initially?
I've been in mental health.
Oh, cool.
I've been in mental health forever.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I like to say that it chose me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Starting out, I was like, I should probably go into med surg because that's where everyone starts out. And from there,
Mm-hmm.
you can branch out and specialize. But I've always worked in mental health, and I worked with adults, children, adolescents. I worked in the psych ER,
Mm-hmm.
inpatient, residential, um, all over in psych. And I did travel nursing in psych. Um, and when I did decide to become a coach, it made the transition so much easier, and it
Mm-hmm.
felt like, oh my gosh, there's a reason why I went into mental health.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I loved it, but I also knew there's more. What else is
Mm-hmm.
it? So that
Mm-hmm.
prompted me to explore.
Yeah. And then where did that take you?
So I told you earlier that I moved to the Outer Banks four and a
Uh-huh.
half years ago. And moving to a rural beach community, there aren't a lot of mental health services.
Mm.
And so that made me switch my
Mm.
specialty. And I was like, I'm not sure what's out there for me here.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but I did find a position as a private duty nurse for a PEDS patient.
Mm,
And I knew that was temporary
okay.
because I had had my eye on the Nurse Coach Collective,
Mm,
on nurse coaching. It took me about 8 months to decide, okay, this is the next step of my nursing career.
mhm.
Because after my last travel assignment, I was like, what? I can't keep doing this.
Yeah,
Even though I love travel, I did it for 2.5 years, and my
yeah.
husband and I lived in an RV, and
Ah,
yeah, it was really fun. But then we both decided, let's settle somewhere. And of course, he moved us here to the Outer Banks. Um, and I found work, but I knew it wasn't going to be my
mhm,
forever. And when I had ended travel nursing, I was thinking about what are my options as a nurse.
mhm.
Um, so it wasn't until I moved here and was settled and decided, okay, now I'm time. It's time to get into it. And started the Nurse Coach Collective and never looked back. And that was
Yay.
4 years ago.
Amazing, amazing. And just, watching your journeys, your adventures that you go on. One thing I've noticed is that you've done things differently every step of the way, including how you coach. So would you share with us some of the interesting places that you've coached people?
Yes. So I have coached from my backyard. I live on a bay on the Sound, and I've had a client come over and we've kayaked and paddleboarded out to a marsh. We anchored there and we had a coaching session. It was awesome. It was just us and the birds.
Amazing. Yeah.
I've taken walks on the beach with clients, and on a boat in Egypt on the Red Sea. I've
Amazing.
coached on retreat. I've coached from a beach house overlooking the Atlantic Ocean.
Mhm.
I've coached on Zoom, but I would say those are the most exciting places I've coached.
Yeah. Yeah, that is awesome. And I suspect with your significant history with mental health and all of the different techniques and modalities that you use, you probably integrate quite a bit of that into your own practice.
I do. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I would say all of my skill set from mental health has translated over
Mhm.
really well to coaching, and the feedback that I've received from patients and from clients is that I'm easy to talk to and I'm a great
Mhm.
listener, and felt like, okay, yeah, I've had experience doing that for
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
some time. And so for me, I thought, well, isn't that what everyone should be doing with coaching? I mean, we're going to be listening more than we talk anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's such an incredible gift to just be present with somebody and to be able to listen because we don't really get that day to day. And
Mhm.
that's the thing about coach love is that I can just hold space for somebody and to just let them let it out, right? And then maybe ask a couple questions and guide that conversation. But that doesn't have to be done in a formal office setting or on Zoom. It can truly be done anywhere. And that's such an incredible gift I think we have as especially as nurse coaches that we can offer that to people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. So where do you see yourself going? I know you just recently hosted a retreat, which looked amazing. What does this journey look like for you kind of moving forward?
My nurse coaching journey.
Anything, whatever you
Anything?
have on the horizon.
Oh, okay. Well, you're probably going to hear it here first.
Mm,
Uh, but my husband and I are planning for a family, and
yay!
I feel like I am restructuring my entire business, which feels scary and different,
Sure.
because it's so unpredictable. We have
Mm,
no idea what's going to happen in 2024. And so I'm being cautious and planning ahead for it.
mhm,
I'd love to host more retreats, probably have 2 more in me in 2024, which I'm planning for. I'm going to be collaborating with Tiffany Homan and Ashley Durant. I think we have a good thing going on with Rest Reset Retreat.
mhm.
And so we're going to have like beach edition and jungle edition, desert edition.
So fun.
um,
Awesome.
so that's going to be sometime in the spring. And then I'd like to host another one of my own, but it's going to be an apprenticed retreat, like an
What does
apprenticeship.
that mean?
Yeah. So I love hosting retreats. We live in a very virtual world nowadays. And so
Mhm,
I really
mhm,
value in person
mm,
live events. And so I think that if
mhm.
I guide and teach more nurse coaches to do that, the world would be a better place.
Agreed.
And I love this work. It's so potent, it's so powerful to spend
Mm,
even 2 to 3 uninterrupted days, just for you and for us too,
mhm.
just to step back, step away
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the grind of life.
yeah.
So I'd love to host an apprentice retreat where coaches or anyone who's wanting to learn about hosting retreats
Mhm.
attend one yourself, and we'll plan it. And I'm going to combine some coaching into it too. So it's going to be um, like a short-term coaching package, but with a retreat involved, so that by
Cool.
the end of it, people will know how to host their own retreat.
Yeah.
They'll have a blueprint, and they'll have gone on one themselves. Um,
I love that. That's definitely
yeah,
something that I'm interested in. Retreats is on my less than
yeah,
5-year plan. So that sounds
excellent.
pretty amazing. Yeah, it really does make a difference when you've got somebody that is gone before you, can help you with the logistics and you're going to put your own spin on it. You're going to have your own flavor, but like just the bones, like what does that look like? And then have some basic structure and then be able to add on what works for you and your audience. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's going
Yeah.
to be a mastermind. I haven't announced it yet, but that's what I'm
That's
working
fun.
on. And I'm really excited about that, because that allows me
Mm,
to meet with my clients in person as
yeah.
well, which I love.
Mhm.
What else? I'm doing more mini
Yeah.
offers.
Okay.
I used to do high ticket, long-term
Mhm.
offers, but now with the unpredictability of starting a
Mhm.
family, I want to
Mhm.
do more mini offers. So I'm
Mhm.
hosting my first mini offer in January, and just doing more workshop style and
Mhm.
mastermind style packages, but shorter term.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just thought, well, you've talked so much about that diversity of nursing in general. So, everything from a specialty in mental health up through nurse coaching. I mean, like your aunt suggested, there's so many options.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's neat to reflect back and go, oh, she was right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But even she
Absolutely.
probably never dreamed of what nurse coaching can offer.
Oh, funny enough, she is a nurse coach herself.
Yeah, really? Did she do that
Yes.
after you went through?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh, that's
Yeah. She
incredible.
reached out to me and she's like, "What? Tell me more about nurse coaching." And she went through the collective as well, and she
Oh my
graduated
gosh.
earlier this year.
Oh, I
So it
love
was a
that.
whole full circle moment
Yes,
that my
yes,
aunt who got me into nursing
yes.
became a nurse coach because of me.
I love that. Oh, I just got chills. That absolutely is a full circle moment. How cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she in which program was she in? I mean, which collective or cohort? That's the word I'm
I want
looking
to say
for.
nine. I want to say 19.
Okay. I was in 18. It just finished in January. So yeah, it's crazy. I'm coming right up on my 1 year mark from becoming a coach, and it's been really incredible to reflect on. It's such an awesome
Yes,
specialty.
it really is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would love for you if you're up for it. Do you have any like tips or tricks for somebody either, my primary audience is nurses, so say maybe something geared towards that. If somebody is either, struggling with a particular issue like what you mentioned was very specific around not being able to pass the NCLEX, but perhaps they're feeling burned out in their job or they're trying to decide what's next for them in their career. What kind of like steps would you recommend they take, or any modalities that might be helpful, if, especially if maybe somebody's feeling super anxious? What are your thoughts that pop in when I ask about that?
Oh, I'm biased here. I teach yoga and I practice yoga, and I think that yoga can offer
Mm,
so much. Um, it's a somatic practice.
hmm
It's mental and emotional, um, and it can ground you. And people when they think of yoga, think of moving the body, the asanas,
hmm hmm
which is right, but one it's one limb.
Mm,
If we're looking at the eight
mhm,
limbs of yoga, it's only one part of it.
mm,
I think that yoga is quite parallel to coaching,
mm,
in that it is holistic.
mhm,
Um, it touches on the physical practice, the mental and emotional health, introspection, turning
mhm.
inwards, like reflecting on yourself, who you are, and how you want to show up in this world. And it involves breath work as well.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think that yoga is quite holistic, and um, there's such a range of it too. There's yin yoga and
Mhm.
restorative, where you sit in these postures for a really long period of
My
time.
favorites.
Yeah. And then there's really intense practices, like power yoga and
Mhm.
Ashtanga. There's everything in between, whatever you're looking for. Um, but there's such a beauty to it. And I think that is what helped me really get
Mhm.
through nursing. My nursing
Mm.
burnout is I practice 2 to 3 times a week, and it led me to community and getting to know other people outside of work, and
Mhm.
my normal group of friends. And it's what has helped connect me to my community here when I was new and I
Mm.
didn't know anyone. And some of my best friends are the people that I can deeply connect with through yoga and through nurse coaching.
Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, I think when you first said that most of the time people do feel it, I think it's just a physical practice and like
Mhm.
these crazy poses, and sometimes when I talk about that, oh, I can't do yoga, and I was like, oh, actually, I think you could. Like yin yoga is fantastic, right? Just these
Mhm.
holding these long stretching postures, and you do what you can do. You don't have to, if it's hurting you or something, obviously you can change positions. But what I love about yin is that it gives me several minutes to just get into my body, and breathe and release. And so like then my thoughts stop spinning, and my breath becomes, more shallow and deep, and not quite as my anxiety sits in my chest. So I find that as I'm moving my body, especially in yoga practices, I feel like I can just start to release that tension in my
Mhm.
chest and my shoulders and my neck, and get out of my buzzing head and into my body. And yeah, I just love yoga too. Mm.
It's my favorite, and I went through my yoga teacher training simultaneously through nurse coaching training as
Okay.
well, and there are so many things that matched up. Like one week we're talking about holistic nutrition, and then that week in yoga we're talking about Ayurvedic medicine and nutrition as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Good.
Like mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah.
And so it felt right.
I
I,
love
I
it.
just knew. I was like, I'm on my path. It's everything's aligning and it's working out. Okay, this is what it feels like. And it was,
Incredible.
yeah, the first time in a long time where things felt aligned.
And I imagine now that you've seen that and you feel that you trust in future stuff, that you don't know what's going to happen, or like you said, you're planning for a family, you have no idea what might actually happen, but just trusting that it's unfolding like it's supposed to, and you're going to have the tools and resources you need when you get there. But
Mhm.
that's really hard, and that does sometimes foster the anxiety with just the unknown, and the trying to control an outcome, which is fairly impossible most of the time, but we work ourselves into it quite a bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say all the things that all the challenges
Mhm.
that I face now,
Mhm.
I've been able to approach it with grace and compassion
Mhm.
because of the work that I've done.
Yeah.
And it's so important. Practicing yoga and being coached and
Mhm.
coaching others myself, um, it has really opened me up to so many opportunities that I did not know were available to me.
Mhm.
Meeting different people and kind of stepping out from what I thought I was supposed to do. Actually, I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing with my nursing career. But just kind of stepping out of that rat race. Um, and you went to Michaela's virtual nurse career day,
Mhm.
and it just took me back to a time in nursing when I felt like this is the path I was supposed to go on. But
Mhm.
then you meet other nurses, and you meet this really awesome community of diverse and influential and adventurous nurses who are doing other things outside of conventional nursing. And
Yeah.
it's really incredible to see how much the profession has grown and how we can use our skills in such creative ways.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, amen. It's a really exciting time, I think, to be a nurse and to be in this specialty of nurse coaching. And I feel like I'm like preaching all the time to my nurses at the
Mhm.
hospital, and I'm like, serious. Like, I know you're burned out, and I'm trying to help you with that, but you got to do the work on your own too. And here are maybe some tools and resources, but check out nurse coaching. Like, even if all you did was go through the program and just use it for yourself, and you never create a business, and you never step into helping others in this space, like just the work that you'll do on yourself through that program, it will change your life, and it
Mhm.
certainly has for me. So I'm just super grateful it fell into my lap.
Yes. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, as we wrap up, I just want to see, is there anything else on your heart that you want to share today?
Hmm. Mm, I don't think so. I mean, my last thought is whoever's listening, wherever you are in life, just trust yourself. Trust
Mm,
yourself. Um, I think, when I mentioned earlier, everything feels aligned now
Mhm.
um, than it ever has. And it's because I'm just trusting that whatever's going to happen is supposed to, and that I have the skills and the tools and the support and the knowledge to get me through all of the challenges. And everything is, this sounds very cliche and cheesy, but everything is happening
Yes.
for you. And I truly
Yes.
trust that and believe that because of all of the hardships that I went through um, to get here. And it's like
Mhm.
people say that because it holds so true. Yeah, it sounds really cheesy, but
Yeah. It's
it's
a
a true
really hard when
statement.
you're going through it, but later when you can reflect on it with gratitude and you can understand, well, that is why
Absolutely.
that had to happen. And that is beautiful when you can kind of finally piece that together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
self-trust, it's a muscle that you get to
Yes.
strengthen just like any other skill, any other muscle.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, thank you, Jen. Where can people find you if they're interested in connecting more?
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is Jen L Yang, and it's spelled JenLyang. And my website is jenyangcoaching.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. It was so wonderful chatting with you today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Jen.
You're welcome. Bye.